Zohran is officially the mayor of New York City. How long until Trump arrests him?
34-year-old Democratic socialist. He's the
communist, not socialist, communist.
Zohran has had a remarkable year, from polling at 1% back in January to winning the Democratic primary to now being the full-blown mayor of New York. From scavenger hunts to football tournaments, he's been busy. But another person who's been very busy is the President of the United States.
And I told Pete, we should use some of these dangerous cities as training grounds for our military, National Guard, but military.
Donald Trump posting, quote, "We must expand efforts to detain and deport illegal aliens in America's largest cities, such as LA, Chicago, and New York, where millions of illegal aliens reside."
He wants ICE to ramp up their efforts, essentially adding, quote, that he wants them to do all in their power to achieve the largest mass deportation program in history.
At the same time that Mamdani's grassroots political campaign has grown and grown, so too is Trump's willingness to push the boundaries of his powers.
City, your message to communist Zohran Mamdani.
Well, then we'll have to arrest him.
The Mamdani thing is it's a disaster waiting to happen. Didn't the man you're talking about blow up the World Trade Center? And he's friends with Mamdani?
This leaves New Yorkers with a question that neither Trump nor Mamdani know the answer to yet. When you combine a Democratic socialist mayor and a president with authoritarian tendencies, what happens? Test. Trump has been outspoken about his desires to denaturalize, deport, and arrest Mamdani.
He said that I should be arrested. He said that I should be deported. He said that I should be denaturalized. And he said those things because he wants to distract from what I fight for.
So of course Mamdani's been asked what is he going to do many times the last couple of weeks.
As mayor, a really full assault from Washington.
Could I ask how you're going to protect this city from the National Guard coming in?
What can you do about that?
For a man who elicits so much hope, his answer is quite dystopian. He always says it's inevitable.
The thing is, we have to prepare for the inevitability of that deployment.
I think that will be an inevitability. We have to treat it as such, as opposed to something that's simply just possible.
We cannot try and convince ourselves that because something is illegal, Donald Trump will not do it. We have to be prepared, and we have to be clear-eyed.
There's a lot of questions that come with how do you Trump-proof New York City, but I think step one is clear. It needs to come with across-the-board acceptance that Zohran Mamdani is the new mayor.
Pro-Cuomo and anti-Mamdani PACs raising over $40 million so far. Several billionaires and prominent New York families, some of them well-known to this show, are among the biggest donors.
See, since he won the Democratic primary in June and a bit before then, multi-millionaires and billionaires have been coming out every chance they get in front of a camera to either call him a communist.
This communist from New York someday gets elected. I can't believe that's happening. That's a terrible thing for our country, by the way.
But that is a quasi-socialist communist idea.
Or to discredit his policies and say he's about to make living in the city so much worse.
So he's right on affordability, but his policies are wrong. Utility costs are too high. Why is that? Right? The answer is because of policies that he wants to make worse, right?
I think, in my opinion, blows up in his face. If he doesn't make it to the mayorship, it's because he didn't respect what the heart of New York is and was and always will be, the American dream. He better get hip to that pretty fast, and that includes meeting with investors like me.
Now, I would argue if you watched him in the debate, every time he answered a question, he'd finish with his smile. You know, it's a constructed smile, and it makes me not trust the guy.
And $1 million to one called Defend NYC. Hedge fund billionaire Bill Ackman, who we've been talking about a lot this morning, gave over $1.2 million to both groups just since October.
Mamdani is out there saying, you're getting free housing, you're getting free transportation, you're getting cheaper groceries. I mean, of course, that's what they need, particularly in New York, and that's what they're going to respond positively to.
Is there any way that can work?
No. No, of course not.
No! Look, we have a financial literacy problem.
But among the young, non-wealthy voters of New York City, their warnings have fallen on deaf ears. Because what reason do we have to trust them? Seeing how shocked Kevin O'Leary was that Zohran didn't clear his schedule to meet with him, or Bill Ackman saying that he was obviously too scared to go on CNBC even though he went on Fox. Then when he was questioned if why he's so anti-Zohran, is it because he might be raising your taxes to fuel other resources in the city, his response was, no, I'm so worried his policies won't work and the city will only become less affordable for the poor. Because obviously you've always cared about the poor. I don't know how these billionaires think when they go on TV and talk about Zohran they come across, but to a non-wealthy New Yorker, it reads like you so staunchly defend capitalism because capitalism has worked out so well for you, while neglecting that for it to have worked out so well for you, it has to not be working for millions of others. It reads like they're terrified of change. It reads like they're terrified of a fairer society and a more affordable city. When you break down the entire sentiment of Zohran's campaign, it's trying to make the city more affordable and to provide a life of dignity to those most vulnerable. So how that can elicit so much hatred, I will never understand. Regardless, what Zohran's campaign showed is that multi-millionaires and billionaires don't need to be the ones who run our cities and our country. The whole reason why Zohran won the primary is because young people were sick and tired of listening to billionaires and millionaires deciding how societies are ran. So why they think splashing millions of dollars to try and convince those same voters to not vote for Zohran in the actual election is beyond me. But it didn't work, and now Zohran is the mayor. So this desperate ploy to try and get people to think a certain thing about him has to end. The people have spoken, New York has spoken, they want him as their mayor. He will now be the mayor for the next 4 years. Let's just try what he's saying he's going to try to do. Let's just give it a shot. If what you're saying is true and your biggest fears actually are making the city less affordable and a worse place to live if you're poor, the best thing you can do now is just shut up and see how Zohran's policies play out. Because one thing that would undoubtedly make the city a worse place to live, whether you're poor or a multi-millionaire, is if Trump sends in the National Guard. I'm personally very excited to see what happens. This is definitely something new. It's definitely something different. There are definitely going to be some tough times ahead, but if there's one man who has already proven he can withstand a lot of pressure, a lot of intimidation, a lot of fear-mongering, it's Zohran Mamdani. So are all of Zohran's policies going to work? Is New York about to become a socialist utopia? Or should we expect the National Guard tomorrow morning? Only time will tell. Thanks for watching. I'm just editing this video now and I'm sourcing clips on YouTube, and I've discovered that if you Google Kevin O'Leary talking about Mamdani on Fox, you get about 200 videos.
The vision of the Statue of Liberty is the essence of the American dream. And somehow this guy, he is the essence of the American nightmare. But do you really want to look at the Statue of Liberty and say, screw you? You're not the American dream anymore? He's a crazy chicken. And he'll be gone soon. I think this guy is going to get drop-kicked by the Statue of Liberty. Poof, they'll be gone.
I will dream about that and wake up with a smile on my face.
He doesn't even live in New York.
Matters in America, the American dream, capitalism, making it happen for your family, that is the essence of New York. I think this guy is...
Oh my God.